Hello, I'm Senator Lisa Murkowski, and I'd like to welcome you to this edition of Veterans Spotlight, which is a partnership effort in my office and the Library of Congress's Veterans History Project. This project was created by the Library of Congress back in 2000 as a way to preserve the personal accounts of American war veterans so that future generations may hear directly from veterans and better understand what has happened on our front lines. As we all know, Alaska's relationship with our veteran community is unique. We have the highest percentage of veterans in our population in the entire United States. Our veterans have served with distinction. They have served selflessly, and every single one of them has a story to tell. Veterans Spotlight is our opportunity to listen and learn. We can learn a lot about our country, our state, and ourselves from the men and women who have fought for us and the freedoms that we hold dear. We owe it to our veterans to honor them through sharing their stories, and we owe it to our nation to use their stories as lessons of patriotism, commitment, and service. If you have a parent, a sibling, friend, or a member of your community whose service to our nation should be shared with the nation, I invite you to reach out to me at spotlight@murkowski.senate.gov.
At 12, I became a Boy Scout, and I've learned a lot. My brother is 6.5 years older than I am, and he became a Scout. He started at 15, and he became a Scout. I started at 12, and at 13, he became an Eagle Scout. And then I started at 12 years old, and at 13 became an Eagle Scout, and that is the highest award in scouting. I learned a lot in doing that, and part of that will creep into what I was assigned to do in my military history. I don't know just exactly what went through my mind, but Americans were killed by a foreign country, and that's a war. They were airplanes and did it consciously, and I was not surprised that we would be in war. Actually, some of the Americans there in Hawaii did shoot back at them, and we know that some battleships were sunk and everything, and now we know it's a mistake to put them all in one place, and so on and so on. That's hindsight. But I was not surprised that we were then in war. And I think that was December 7, and maybe a day or two later, the president announced it in this famous words, December 7th is a day that will live in infamy. Franklin Roosevelt, Commander-in-Chief. Infamy. One of the things I did in the military is I demonstrated how you watching me, you soldiers watching me, and I'm going to tell you how you can swim through water that is covered with oil that is on fire and not be burnt. And I demonstrated how to do that. And if you want, basically there you have a triangle, you have all these soldiers. You have one swimming in front doing this, and then this one doing this, and this one doing this. And you're pushing the water away, and that pushes the fire away, and you get through. The other thing I demonstrated is what you can do with the clothes you are wearing to help keep you afloat for a long time. One, you can take your helmet, take it off, and keep it like this, top, and slam it into the water, and it will trap air in, and you can only slam it so much. And then hold it like this, and you will float. The other is you can take off your pants, tie knots in the legs, zip up the zipper, and flip it so the waist part goes down first, and you trap air into that, and then you put one leg here and one leg here, and you float. Things like that relate to scouting. And then, of course, scouting teaches you, you have an idea what scouting teaches, but it enlarges your vision of life and your love of life and birds and camping and all these kind of things, and you can sleep anywhere and do anything, and you're very independent. You know, you're not scared. So does that help you? The other thing I did in the Signal Corps is I had to go, everybody has to go through this, through boot training and so on. I did that in Texas. And then I rose through the ranks very rapidly because of my knowledge. And I then had men under me and so on, and I taught them about things that I know about electricity, communication, wires, etc., etc., etc. Can you imagine there were 16 million people in uniform in World War II? 16 million. Each of them had a pair of shoes. Each of them had, if necessary, eyeglasses, etc. Each of them had a gas mask, and so on. 16 million. And unfortunately, 400,000 of them were killed. In addition, in that war, 50 million people died. That's one war. But we are in the pool of this thing. It's called World War II. And what I found, and I hear other people talk about this, the comradeship of soldiers. You meet people you don't know, and right away you're a friend, and so forth and so forth. So these are valuable experiences. You can have them anywhere if you're, friends and so on. But the basis of a life is family usually, and this becomes a family. These 400,000 people who died, they sacrificed their lives for that. Otherwise, there would have been, the way the world was going, it would have been tyranny and so on. And I'm very grateful for it. When I was in grammar school, there was a boy named John Zimmerman. He was smarter than I am. I wasn't the stupidest, and I wasn't the smartest in the class. I was in the middle, but he was near the top. And I met him, and after high school, he got a job delivering mail, house to house, which to him is home to home. And he said, Norman, I like very much what I'm going to do, what I'm doing, and I'm going to do it all my life. And he then, the way things were, he went into the military, and he died in Normandy. That's the invasion from England into Europe. And after the war, I went to his home and talked to his mother and sister, and they showed me his Purple Heart, and I offered my sympathy and so on, and feel that, something has to be done in this world. Something has to be done. We have to do, the world has to find something other than war. And of course it's called peace. And as you grow older, these memories become stronger and deeper, and they make you. But this was 1946. The feeling was very optimistic. This is just after the war. Some of these people will marry their high school sweethearts. Some of these people have a job they can go to. Some of these people will look for a job. Some of these people will go to college. But whatever it was, there was this optimism. The world is good. The world is better. The world gives you an opportunity. And you could feel the vibrations of that. I was on, in October, just a little while, a few weeks ago, I was on a honor flight for World War II veterans. And I took this book with me. And what is this book? It was a book given to soldiers. And if you notice, it's a dirty brown. It's actually a camouflage cover. And it's not going to attract attention. But in it, I will read, I will read words by the Commander-in-Chief, who was Franklin Delano Roosevelt. To the members of the Army, it's on page 1. As Commander-in-Chief, I take pleasure in commending the reading of the Bible to all who serve in the armed forces of the United States. Throughout the centuries, men of many faiths and diverse origins have found in the sacred book words of wisdom, counsel, and inspiration. It is a fountain of strength and now, as always, an aid in maintaining the highest aspirations of the human soul. Very sincerely yours, Franklin D. Roosevelt. It was issued to me, to every soldier. And they had a Jewish version, a Catholic version, and a Protestant version. This is the Catholic version. I took it on the flight with me because I said, this I have from those days, and I'm going back there on this honor flight to Washington, D.C. to see these memorials. And this I had then put in my pocket. Put in my pocket. And when we were there by the memorial, I don't know if you know the structure of the memorial, but the youngest person on this flight was 87, and the oldest was 94. That's it. And whoever arranged it, superb. Oh, they took care of everything. You had to have a guardian, and it could not be your spouse, because your spouse would be too old. What could she do? And so I had if you look over there, you can take a picture of that later. Those are my 4 children. The number 2 from the left is Rowan, R-O-E-N, and he went with me. And he's over 6 feet tall, and he was a good guardian. Incidentally, they had on the plane, in the luggage down on the bottom, a wheelchair for everybody. Not everybody needs a wheelchair. I cannot. I am in a wheelchair. I cannot walk I cannot walk. But most of the people could walk, but a wheelchair for them, it was very good because they get tired at that age, and their guardian would walk around pushing the wheelchair, and then if they got tired, they could sit down. The veteran could sit down, and also it sort of kept the group together, and you could spot them, and that's just one of the many things that whoever pulled all this together, and here in Texas, here in Alaska, it's Ron Travis, and it's up in Big Lake near Wasilla, where they are, and they did a superb job. It's as though they thought of everything. Absolutely nice. But I do not deserve the honor because I served always in the United States. But I went where I was told, and everybody else goes where they're told. It's yes, sir, and and right now, and da-da-da. And that's the military, and that's how it wins its wars. I felt, I'm hard of hearing, and I'm even with my hearing aids. In an airplane today, it has big wings, and it has jets. And the jets go, and you're we're sitting there, remember, we're sitting for hours and hours and hours. And I think to most people, that's an annoyance. Well, I don't hear very well, so it's perhaps less an annoyance to me. But that's not the point. To me, it was a hymn of the universe. And these were big wings. And as a boy, when I was a month short of being 9 years old, wings, I woke up in bed, and something I felt is wrong. I did not hear, the bedroom was right off the kitchen. It was Thanksgiving Day, and I did not hear my mother's footsteps in the kitchen, and I did not hear any pans being stirred and so on. And I said to my brother who slept with me, it was a bed, a regular bed, but we were not absolutely poor, but we were not rich, regular people. And I said, where's Ma? And he said, she went to the hospital for a baby. And I said, well, why didn't Dad go instead? What I'm telling you is I believed, as many, many people did then, that storks bring babies, and storks have big wings. And the pictures that you would see then are the baby is in a diaper, and the diaper, part of it is held in the beak of the stork, and the stork is flying. And these things are nothing, and these things are everything. I think with age, you're living all these things are mixed up or whatever in you, and they are you, and life is magnificent. Life is magnificent.